return, which means that you're churning a large part of your single ticket audience every year. And if your single ticket audience is about a third of your ticket buyers, something like that,
in some cases more.
This means, in some cases more, this means that there's a third of your ticket buyers every year that you cannot at all be sure of. And you have to work for the large majority of them.
And marketing directors tell you that it costs much more.
It costs much more to sell a single ticket, obviously, than a subscription ticket. So this is a serious concern for orchestras.
And the one word that we could sum up from these focus groups was apathy.
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 Meaning nobody cares?
That they came to a concert and it was fine. They enjoyed it. Well, but the question, would you come back?
Yes.
I don't know.
I don't know. Because what's going to happen? The same thing.
Yeah.
Now, this is something that I know. It really is, but I understand it. If you ask most people what the Philadelphia Orchestra or the New York Philharmonic or the Rochester Philharmonic does, they would say, oh, they play classical music. They had a concert last week. What happened? They played classical music. Right. And the next concert, they're going to do that again. Now, you and I, and many of the people watching this, we can differentiate. And they say, my God, Shostakovich 4, you never hear that. Yeah. I'm going. But for the public at large, you have a real problem differentiating one event from another.
That's right. And it's this event concept that single ticket buyer responds to. So we're actually now also through Ed's leadership looking at a post-subscriber model.
Huh. You mean the world after subscriptions become not the main thing that you do?
Well, he believes, and I concur, that we're moving out of the subscriber world.
Right.
And whether we like it or not, it's going to happen, and we have to plan for it.
Right.
So we're looking at modeling something after the car share, these urban car share concepts.
Yeah.
We have one in Philadelphia called Philly Car Share.
Right. And this is the deal where there are cars available for people to use, and if you become part of the program, you find an available car and you can use it.
Yes, and you pay by the
use.
hour of use. Yeah, and so this will be called seat share.
Huh.
And you'll join at various levels of seat share, and then you'll have seats available to you at a discount right up to the day of the concert, and be able to go on your site with your membership, your log on, and click actually on the seat in the hall, and then print out your ticket on your computer, home computer.
Yeah.
So
how does that answer the apathy, though? Because it seems
it's
to
not
me
a direct response, but it does respond to the last-minute ticket buyer.
It absolutely does, and very effectively, I would think. But the people who say, I don't know when or whether I would ever come back, I'm not sure it addresses them, because you have to be interested already to sign up.
Exactly, and that has to be addressed otherwise.
So what do you do?
Well...
Long-range planning again.
In segmentation, this segmentation strategy, we really believe that we have to be not only clear about what genre of classical music you'll be buying, so to speak, but it'll have to be identified within that genre. So the first step, I don't have the full answer to this, but the first step is being very clear with your audience about what they're going to hear, and segmenting that experience so that it lines up. We're looking at various technical, the screens enhancements, and selling a series around that so that it's not blend. Every concert has visual enhancements every fourth Thursday or something. So, but how to create a sense of event around every program? Interview me in a year, all right?
Because by then you'll have an idea of what works and what doesn't? Well, or you will have tried more things or planned.
I think we will have tried and planned more, but one of the clear trends in the field right now is the concept of the music director being an artistic partner.
Yes.
Not
the undisputed maximum leader.
Exactly. And so that is responding to this issue, and I do think that we'll see movement in a more interesting direction around programming because of this trend.
And how does that make a difference?
It makes a difference because artistic planning then is done in a group process with input from different constituencies.
so you can actually have an artistic planning process. Because orchestras, strangely enough, don't have this, do they?
Right. No, they don't.
The music director typically plans his or her own concerts. The artistic administrator fills in the rest around whatever the guest conductors want to do, and the whole may have no shape because there is no actual artistic director, typically.
That's right.
Yes.
You know,
and
I
so
mean, in the most extreme circumstances, the music director faxes in his or her program.
Yes.
Yeah. And actually, in the most extreme circumstances, the music director will shape the guest conductor's programs as well.
Yes. Yeah. But often not.
But frequently. Most often not.
Well, so here we have an important case of a major orchestra facing what we know are some years of overall decline in ticket sales, this crisis, if I'm not speaking too strongly, and I don't think I am, about the end of the subscription era, and you're trying to find out what to do, and in a year we need to talk to you again to see if you make progress. But something has to be done. I want to turn, Jim, to two other questions if we have time. One of them is the relationship with the musicians.
Yes.
When you came in, the Philadelphia Orchestra had had a recent history of trouble in that department, the relations between musicians and management. How did you find that, and what have you done to ease things? Because knowing you, I would know that would have to be a major concern of yours, not just as administrator, but as a person.
Right. Well, the musicians and I, and not just me, but had to face the end of the Eschenbach contract together. So working through that together allowed us an opportunity to develop strong communication
and how did
with
you
each
do
other.
That? What was that about?
A lot of listening.
A lot of you listening and other people in the administration listening to the musicians.
Yes. Clearly, I established early on that I was going to be listening and responding and expecting them to listen to me.
Right.
And I work strictly through two committees of the orchestra, although I know all the musicians, of course, through the artistic committee and through the members committee, which would be the... and we're currently negotiating a new contract.
And how's that going? Is that more amicable than it was in the past?
Yes.
That's terrific.
We had, and I feel confident that I can say this, and that is we had a negotiating session about how we would do it, and came to several agreements about that. And it addressed many of the errors and sins of the past.
The other thing I wanted to ask you, which may touch on a tender area, it's the matter of the music director. You were perceived as having essentially fired Christoph Eschenbach by telling him that his contract would not be renewed. And that strikes me, though perhaps I'm wrong about this, as a bolder move than many people in your position have made.
Yeah. Well, I was given the responsibility of carrying the message to Christoph. Clearly, we wanted him to continue in some fashion, but that was not to come to pass. But yes, I think that, and I'm going to back off the Eschenbach question specifically because he's a very fine man. And
I agree, he is. Yeah.
But talk more about the Philadelphia Orchestra before me had a chair who was the CEO. And they went through quite a planning process. And that dates back to 1901, that the chair was the CEO. And they went through quite a process after Dick Smoot resigned as chair and Joe Kluger stepped down as president, of looking at how they wanted to operate into the future. And so they created a president and CEO position.
Right. This is a major change in era for the Philadelphia Orchestra, because Joe had been in your position for quite a while. I don't remember the number of years. 17 years. Yeah. And I don't know how long Dick was the board chair.
About 5, I think.
About 5. Yeah. But this was a time for the orchestra to reevaluate.
Exactly.
Clearly.
And so part of the upshot of that was giving more authority.
Yes.
And so they in their search process, they looked for an executive who had a strong musical background.